Greetings and welcome to another Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team video, where today I'm going over my Scout Squad review for the new Scout Squad Kill Team from Kill Team Salvation. But before we get into things, thanks goes to Games Workshop providing this to review for free. As always, I aim to be honest, impartial and constructively critical. But remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you think of this new Astartes Kill Team. And remember, I've got a Discord you can check out in the episode description below, and a affiliate link at Element Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. But yeah, let's get into the review. So yeah, this is the Scout Squad Kill Team, which you can find in the Kill Team Salvation box. You get 10 scouts, and yeah, I'll be going over the Scout Squads now, so let's get into it. So for the Scout Squad Kill Team, you have access to Infiltration and Recon, which is okay. Like, Recon is really good, and then Infiltration isn't bad. I kind of wish they could take Seek and Destroy, but then I guess it fits that Scouts aren't all about killing, although they kind of are. But anyway, you get a Scout Sergeant who can either have shotgun, bolt gun, or bolt pistol and chainsword. Then you get 8 other Scouts, where you get a heavy gunner with a heavy bolter, heavy gunner with a rocket launcher, a hunter, sniper, tracker, and then warriors. So that does mean you have 5 unique operatives, your leader, and then 3 normal warriors, which you have to take. So you're actually quite thin on specialists, which we'll get to. So for Tac Ops, you have Sudden Strike, which is Faction Tac Op 1. If you reveal this during the first turning point, if more enemy operatives than friendly operatives were incapacitated during the first turning point, you score a victory point. And then if you do it in any other turning points, you get another victory point. Operatives with a wound characteristic of 12 or more are treated as 2 operatives for this Tac Op. So it's good-ish, but you really have to be like paying for that turning point 1 alpha strike, which I don't really like. I think this faction Tac Op is too greedy and is not reliable. Then you've got From All Angles, which is faction Tac Op 2. Reveal this in the target reveal step of any turning point. Once you do so, you divide the table into 4 quarters. So if 3 friendly scout operatives inflict damage on enemy operatives during the same turning point, and they are wholly within 3 different table quarters, you score a victory point. And then if you do it again in another victory turning point, you get another, which is actually probably their best faction Tac Op, because you just have to damage, not kill, and you have a lot of ways to apply damage. So that's really good. Then you have Gather Reconnaissance for faction Tac Op 3. If a friendly operative performs this action, you get a victory point. At the end of the battle, if a friendly operative that performed this action hasn't been incapacitated, you score another victory point, and it doesn't have to be the operative that scored this first. So operatives can perform Gather Reconnaissance while within red of your opponent's drop zone and not within engagement range of enemy operatives. So it's okay. It's either a win more, or you're dedicating operative to do this. You do get more flexibility, but I think it's better into elites or teams you're dominating. So it's not too bad, but I definitely prefer From All Angles instead. Now we get to the kill team's ability. So you get forward scouting. At the end of the setup operative step, you can select and resolve up to 5 forward scouting options. Each option has a number in the bracket, which is the number of maximum times you can select and resolve it for battle. For example, your 5 selections could be Recon ×2, Trip, Alarm, Booby Trap, and Diversion. If both players have this, you resolve starting with the Defender. So the brackets are how many times you can select it, not the cost. Because originally I was like, oh, you can just take Devise Plan 5 times. No, you can only take it once. So you have Redeploy, change the setup of one of your operatives that is wholly within your drop zone and or change its order. So you can just redeploy. You have Recon, so you get to do the Recon scouting option, which you can do twice. Infiltrate, so change order twice, although don't know why you just wouldn't take Redeploy, but you can kind of hold off your infiltration. So Redeploy, you have to do it now. Infiltrate, you can save until the end of the scouting step. Trip Alarm, which is great. Place one of your Trip Alarm tokens anywhere in the kill zone more than red from your opponent's drop zone. During the firefight phase, the first time with the conceal order operative moves within white of it, they remove that token, and until the start of their next activation, they cannot have an engage order. So flips anyone unless they have super conceal, and you can select it twice. Then you have Booby Trap. You can only take this once. Place one of your Booby Trap tokens more than red from your opponent's drop zone and more than white from each objective marker. Each time an operative moves within white of one of these Booby Trap tokens, interrupt the action to roll 1d6, adding 1 to the result if it's from a charge or dash. Only roll once per action for each relevant token. On a 1 to 3, nothing happens and the enemy operative continues. On a 4+, the enemy operative suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the result of the d6. The action ends and the token is removed. So if it does nothing, it stays. On a 4+, does D6 mortal wounds, and then is removed. It's okay. It's better on Beta Decima and Into the Dark because there's more choke points you can use it on, but it's actually quite hard to use on open. And I generally don't really like using Booby Trap. Once again, amazing on Into the Dark and certain Beta Decima maps, but hard to use on open. Then you've got Diversion. Select one enemy operative, subtract one from their APL. Good into teams where this actually affects them, and really powerful if they've got an operative they're trying to forward deploy to steal a far back objective. You can kind of pin them down. Devise plan for an extra CP, which you always take, and designate target. Select one enemy operative to gain your target token. Each time a friendly scout operative fights in combat, makes a student attack against them, you can reroll one of your attack dice. So you get balanced against a designated opponent, which is actually pretty good. Like, I think you always take Devise Plan and Triple Arm, unless they have Super Conceal, and then you're taking a mixture of like Recon, Redeploy, Diversion, and Designate Target, and sometimes Booby Trap. But there's a lot of depth here, and I like how it rewards practice and how you gauge the battlefield. Like, you need to be able to make your positioning good and punish bad positional play. So for the strategic ploys, you have Guerrilla Engagement until the end of the turning point. Each time a shooting attack is made against a friendly scout operative, that's in cover and more than red from any operatives, you can reroll defense dice, one of them. It's okay, but I wouldn't really use this, considering you only have a 4-up save. Gunfire Ambush. Until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly operative makes a shooting attack in an activation when its order was changed from concealed to an engage, in the roll attack dice step, you can reroll one of your attack dice if the target isn't ready. You can reroll any or all of your attack dice of a single result. So if they're ready, you get to reroll one dice. If they've already activated, you get to reroll any dice of one number. Then Blade Ambush is the same thing, but for melee. So depending on the turn you engage, you're either using Gunfire or Blade Ambush or both. Then you've got Stealth Relocation. Select one friendly scout squad operative more than red from the enemy operatives. You can immediately perform a free dash action and or change its order. You cannot use it during the first turning point. So it's actually pretty good for repositioning in later turning points, as well as punishing someone when you have won initiative. Like, it's actually quite good and very good. You can't use it turning point 1, otherwise it'd be too good. Then you've got Tactical Ploys, so Astartes training. Select a friendly operative. They can either do 2 fight actions or 2 short actions if they're using a shotgun, bolt pistol, or bolt gun or heavy bolter. So you can actually get a lot of usage out of these scouts. Then you've got Raw Physiology. Until the start of its next activation, you're not injured and you can ignore any or all modifiers to your APL. So if someone stunned you and injured you, you can just ignore all that. Then you've got Emboldened Aspirant. Use this after rolling dice in a fight or shoot action by a friendly operative. If it's the first friendly operative to do so during the turning point, or if the target had more wounds remaining than the friendly scout operative at the start of the step, you can retain 1 normal hit as a crit instead, which is situationally good, especially when you get to your melee stuff. Then you have Covert Position. For a CP, you count as having Super Conceal with your Conceal order until you are next activated. So very good for safely moving up the board. Now we go on to Operatives. So you have your Scout Sergeant, who, remember, is just a full Marine in Scout armor, who has 3 APL, 4-up save with 11 wounds. So you can either have a shotgun, which is 4 attacks in on 2s, 4/4 with balance, range red, your bolt pistol, bolt gun, chainsword, and fists. Personally, you're always taking him with the chainsword and bolt pistol because you need melee threat in this kill team, and he's 5 attacks in on 2s, 4/5. He has guidance and experience. Each time this operative is activated, you can select one other friendly scout operative visible to it, add 1 to the selective operative's APL. So pretty cool. I think the only thing it needs is no line of sight. Just pick someone anywhere, but otherwise really good. He's actually really key to activate, not last, but before you make your key move. And he is very important as your best melee operative. Next, you have your heavy gunner. Remember, they can either have a heavy bolter and missile launcher, and they have the standard layout of this kill team where everyone is 2 APL, 10 wounds, and a 4-up save. Only your leader is 3 APL. So they all have bolt pistols. The heavy bolter is 5 attacks, 3s, 4/5, heavy, P1, and the missile launcher is heavy as well with its standard profile. Nothing stand out. You have to take these, like always take these operatives. They're just, you need them. You need them for their ranged output. Then you have your Scout Hunter, who I like to call Link. So he has a bolt pistol and combat blade, but the cool thing, he has a grapnel launcher. So he counts as having a grapnel launcher, which is basically climbing gear. And then he has grapnel assault for 1 action point. Perform a free charge action with this operative, and if during that activation you climb, drop, jumps, traverse, or its base moves under a vantage point, its melee weapon gains the lethal 3-up special roll till the end of that activation. So He's actually hilariously powerful because everyone in combat who isn't your leader is 3-5 in melee. He's 4 attacks, hit on 3s, 3-5. And then if he charges, does any of those things, he gains lethal 3-up and he just murders stuff. The funniest thing with him is on Into the Dark, because you want to angle him through barricades. So you have this weird thing where instead of charging at a straight line at someone, he goes, there's a barricade. So he runs through a barricade and then runs towards them and goes, now because I did a cool jump over that barricade, my blade is lethal 3-up. But he's very good, like, especially on Into the Dark and Open. As long as you just move slightly under vantage point, he gains lethal 3-up. I guess representing him hookshotting and swinging past, but very, very good. Then you have the Scout Sniper. So he has a bolt pistol as well. And then he has a sniper rifle, which is 4 attacks, hit on 2s, 3-3, heavy silent mortar wounds 3. He has a camo cloak, so if he's in cover, you can retain an additional defense dice, and then an advanced scope for an action point until the end of the activation when determining line of sight. Operatives are not obscured. He cannot perform this while in engagement range. So if you give him +1 APL, he can give himself ignore obscuring, dash, and then shoot. Very, very good. Then you have your Scout Tracker. He has a bolt gun and has fists. So track enemy. Select one enemy operative with a conceal order, visible and within red of this operative, and select one friendly Scout operative. Until the end of the turning point, the selected Scout operative treats that enemy operative as if it has an engage order. You cannot perform this while in engagement range of an enemy operative. So what you can do is move him up within red and just go, you're dead. He synergizes really well with the sniper and your heavy weapons, but very powerful. And then he has the standard or spec scan from Intercession. So you select one enemy operative visible or within red of this operative. They are not obscured and they cannot retain dice as a result of cover. It super ignores cover, and you cannot perform this while in engagement range. He's a really key support piece. So unfortunately, he's not your comms. But as I said, you can have him move up to conceal. If you give him 3 APL, he can move, get within red, basically flip them to engage for one of your scouts, and then also give another one ignore obscuring and no cover, or super no cover. So very useful operative here. Then you have your Scout Warriors. So they have the standard Scout profile, and they can either have the Astarte shotgun, bolt pistol or bolt gun, and then combat blade or fists. Personally, I only really take shotguns situationally, like they're better on Into the Dark, but in all other cases, I might take one shotgun, but generally I run bolt pistols. Like one guy with a combat blade, so I have 3 melee pieces, but I'm generally running more bolt guns because you need the range threat with this kill team. You just need to chip away. You don't need to kill, you just need to chip, because eventually you'll get the kill, but the plan is to chip and then live off your durability. But unfortunately, they have no special rules, they're just scouts. Then you get your equipment. So you get climbing equipment, which just works as standard climbing equipment. Camo cloak, which is the same as your scout sniper, but the sniper obviously can't take it. Then you get the extra blade, which for 2 equipment points gives someone with a blade balanced, which makes your melee strategic ploy effectively pointless. Just invest in extra blades. The heavy weapon bipod, just as long as you don't move, you get to reroll any or all of your attack dice of a single result. So you can either, your minimum rerolling 1 dice. It's unfortunate it's not a suspense system. Then you have the targeting ocular. Ranged weapons on this operative's data card that's equipped with gain the no cover special rule. Note that grenades don't benefit from it. Then they get a smoke grenade, crack and frag. So their equipment is actually pretty good, but generally you're selecting climbing gear, an extra blade or 2, like especially on your 2 knife operatives, maybe the heavy weapon bipod, and then a crack grenade and or smoke grenade. So not a bad selection of equipment here. And then also you get, once again, a large swath of narrative rules like you have with other kill teams, which, you know, it's just great for you narrative gamers. You get a lot of tools to play around with. So overall, for this kill team, they're interesting. I think they're very thematic, and I think they do their job well. I was a bit dubious of them at first. I thought they were quite weak, but after playing with them more, I think they're very good. They are still not horrible, but not that strong. Their biggest problem is elites. They kind of do okay into hordes, but elites are a big problem. And I think the only thing I would change in the scout squad is the leader's ability doesn't need line of sight, and then your missile launcher and heavy weapons, heavy bolter, just gain the new unwieldy trait. Not unwieldy, you know, support weapon or whatever. So if they don't move more than 6 inches, like built-in suspension system, so they just, as long as they don't move more than 6 inches, they can still move and shoot. I think that's all this kill team needs, and it will be perfect. Originally, I think they needed an extra operative, but then I realized that would have been broken. but they're very unthematic. They're good at punishing your opponent and playing tactically. They're really a positional heavy kill team and love boards with lots of choke points. Because of that 10 wound durability, they're actually really quite tough. And you're actually using most of your CP on your tactical ploys over your strategic ploys, which is weird, but not surprising. You kind of have to get past how bland they look on paper, because once you start playing them, they do feel really, really good. And it's weird because at first, as I said, I thought they weren't great, but the more I played with them, the more fun I had. I think for the roster, the ideal roster I would go for this kill team, like especially if you're building one box, is Scout Sergeant with Bolt Pistol Chainsword, Heavy Bolter, Missile Launcher, Hunter, Sniper, Tracker. Then I would build a guy with Bolt Gun, Combat Blade, and then a Shotgun. Although personally, I kind of dropped the Shotgun for another Bolt Gun, but that's my personal preference. And then, you know, if you're running a larger roster, you can just slot in more Shotguns and Bolt Guns. They are very good in a balanced way. Their biggest problem is elites, and I think it's kind of thematic. They can't beat elites easily, but the problem you have is it fits the lore, but if elites are at least 45% of the meta, is it fine for a kill team to just always lose to them? Like Legionary, they can't beat Legionary. Intercession is tough, and I think Phobos is oddly the one they have the most game into, but it's a weird dichotomy. You wouldn't want scouts destroying Marines, otherwise you'd go, why would I upgrade from a scout into a Marine? So that's my only catch-22 there. But overall, I think they're a really fun and thematic kill team that just needs some minor tweaks, but otherwise they have a very strong toolkit. They're not as weak as the Season 2 kill teams were, and they're not as broken as the Season 2 kill teams were. They're in a nice middle ground. As I said, just making the heavy weapons get built in suspense systems except the sniper and the leader's ability affecting not needing line of sight, I think that would be really, really good. You also have some compatibility with the Black Templar Neophytes. For example, my scouts, I built 4 of them from the Neophytes and then 5 of them from the Scouts, so I have 5 scouts left to play around with if I want to. The cool thing is, like, the leader has this comm thing on his chest, which perfectly fits the Black Templar Neophyte. So I've made one of my Black Templar Neophytes my leader. He's holding Initiate's head, and then I've mixed and matched. Like, I've actually built my hookshot guy from the Black Templar kit, and it's just, I like how you can easily mix and match them in. So if you just wanted like 5 extra scouts or 4 extra scouts, I would just find a way to get 4 Black Templar Neophytes. That's pretty much it from me today. Remember, I'll have a review on Beta Decima and, you know, Kill Team Salvation, as well as an article. So check those out in the channel in the episode description below. But please remember to like and subscribe, as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of the Scout Squad. How do you find them? Do you think you're more fun, like you're looking forward to them more now? What do you know? What do you feel? Let me know. And remember, I've got a Discord you can check out in the episode description below, an affiliate link Element Games if you want to buy these kill teams, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. And I'll quickly shout out my patrons. So for my adders of the crew, I have Tom, Sam, Nikki Sticks, Nick, Mr. Meatwad, Kenzie, John Thomas, Dad of Golden's Ben, and for my veterans of the crew, I have Sandra. So thank you so much for all your support. It really means a lot to me and helps support the channel. But yeah, my scouts are base coat, like battle ready almost. I just need to do some minor details. I'm actually finding them quite fun, although I don't think they'll do well into the current meta, because how the current meta is. But the scouts are really interesting. Like, they offer so much positional play. I think if you put in a lot of time with them, it'll pay off. And even though elites are rough, you can kind of play around with elites a bit. You may just rely on shotguns unless they're Nurgle, but it's a very cool kill team. You can surprisingly punish people if they start misplaying with their deployments. And you actually have 2 ways to get non-obscuring shots, which is actually pretty good. As I said, they're a little bit weaker than, you know, what we're normally used to, but not to the Season 2 extreme. So just balance. They just need some minor tweaks, and we might get that in 3 to 6 months. But yeah, until next time, no matter how inexperienced you are as a scout, remember there's always a chance to win as long as you can roll a crit.